Today on the NeoMarketing podcast, we're going to be talking about tone deafness.
Welcome to the Golden Group NeoMarketing podcast, a bi-weekly discussion of modern business communication.
Kyle.
Yes.
Great day today in Washington, D.C.
Man, it's a little cold, but it's a good day. I like it.
And we are broadcasting from the Wink Hotel,
That's
just
right.
off of DuPont
Podcasting
Circle.
from the Wink
Podcasting.
Hotel. The Wink Hotel has been a good experience the last 2 days.
It has been. It's been
Yeah.
a good experience. It's a nice place. Shout out to them.
Right on.
Right.
Another shout out. We just came back from the Podcast Village.
Podcast Village,
Yes.
yeah.
Here in Washington, D.C. Really cool.
Sweet setup they got there. So today I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been on my mind, and it's the number of people recently who have been absolutely tone deaf.
Yep, that happens a lot.
Yeah. So tone deaf, lack of situational awareness, lack of understanding the environment. There have been 3 garment manufacturers in the last 2 weeks who have offered products that are not acceptable in today's environment.
There's a joke we have around our house, which is that our ad agencies and folks that creatives should have 12-year-old boys on staff.
Right.
Because no double entendre or dirty joke or I didn't know it meant that gets past a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's exactly right. And I for the life of me, I can't fathom what these people were thinking about. And of course, the PR person in me immediately wants to go to, where was the PR person in all of this?
Who let this happen?
Right? Who let this happen? Well, I think about those organizations, and they are not rich in public relations experience or offices, typically. If they have a staff, it's a very small staff. But I'm not going to throw the PR person under the bus. Right. That's my go-to because that's what the PR person's supposed to be doing. But there were other people sitting around that room, and they should understand the environment. I think they just get so excited about their idea that they can't look past it.
Yes, and I'll tell you this, as a creative professional myself, sometimes us creatives get so in love with an idea, with the thing we came up with, because it pops in your head and you go, oh, this is going to work, it's going to be awesome. And we get in love with it and we go and fight for it and we defend it and we push it through and we won't take no for an answer. And then it usually becomes this thing where people go, if you'd have just taken 5 minutes and really look at what the implication was or what other people were saying, right, you would have seen it coming.
Back to your 12-year-old boy comment.
Yeah, it is. That's teenager, exactly. If the 12-year-old boy snickers,
right,
then you probably shouldn't do it.
Right, exactly. So I've struggled with how we guard against this, and I don't know that I've got the answer, but one of the first steps is to open your eyes. I mean, right? See what's happening day to day and be involved in current events.
As you open your eyes, slow down.
Exactly.
Right? Slow down, breathe.
Calm down.
You don't have to have the campaign done today.
Right.
Even if your deadline's today. Right. It doesn't have to be done today. If it's going to be bad. Yeah. The extra day of work or missing a deadline or extra budget, whatever it is. And I'm not saying people don't pay attention to deadlines and budget. But to get it right is paramount importance.
It's paramount importance. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And I would rather have it a little bit late, but have it right. And I'm with you, not encouraging people or listening audience to.
It's not a permission to be late.
Don't blow off the deadlines.
Right.
But and the secret to good writing is the same thing. You write it, you set it aside for a little bit, get some distance from it, and then come back to it with fresh eyes.
And does it read to you the second time that it did the first time?
Exactly. Right. So 9 times out of 10, in my mind, that would be step 2.
Right.
Is set it aside once you've got it, give it some distance, and then come back to it.
For sure. And then, of course, really smart professionals get other people to look at it.
Exactly.
And they take their feedback.
Yeah.
They don't just let them read it and ignore what they're saying, or else what's the point?
Right. Exactly so. And maybe it's your 12-year-old niece that you run it by.
Another human being needs to read it.
Yeah.
If it's someone who is a target or the target audience or the potential, that's your best case scenario.
Best case.
But at the very least, you're going to get people who are going to go, should you have a comma here? Is it, punctuation, spelling, phrasing,
Right.
you use past tense and present tense, things like that are obviously going to pop out, and that's just bad mechanics.
Right.
But I don't get it. Like when I read it, I don't get it. Means you haven't done your good job as a writer, and it's not my fault, and I'm not dumb because I'm the person in the place of the audience, right?
Or when you put one of those ideas like the knit cable or the turtleneck sweater with the lips on it.
Right. That was an ugly look.
That was ugly. It wasn't just a good look. It was just ugly. The blowback was immediate.
It was almost such a bad representation of blackface, which is what it was.
Right.
And I don't want to go into it because it was ugly to talk about. That it was almost looked intentional.
Right.
But then,
almost.
And then that was a product. So the product development team failed. The marketing team failed. The PR people, the C-suite, the CEO that let that hit the floor and hit a catalog, and everyone in the chain failed at that. Now, which it makes it hard to say it was an intentional thing or literally someone at the top, because they're the only person with enough authority, said, "I don't care, go for it."
Go for it.
And that's the
sadder part of it.
Yeah,
is to think that's
very
might have
unfortunate.
been the case. Exactly, because who in their right mind wouldn't have looked at that product and gone?
I saw it. It was a controversy. I clicked the link, and I don't even think the picture had fully shown up on my screen before I was shaking my head like, "Oh my, no!" There have been some of these other products recently from apparel manufacturers that have obvious. I would say they have racial overtones that some people find very obvious, and some people didn't. That one was. I don't think anyone disagreed with that one.
Right.
Some of the other ones, like, maybe you should have seen it, using certain color combinations, That one in particular, that was just ugly.
So the third thing that I want to say about this and how we solve it is somebody's got to have the guts to say, "What the?"
That's right.
Right.
A company full of yes men is doomed.
Absolutely. You're not getting the best ideas.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's an environment where you can't say no, you can't disagree. That's just the same as people who just don't feel like they're invested.
Absolutely.
The bottom line is that the result's the same.
True. And I'm gonna pick on creatives one more time again as a creative professional.
Okay.
Don't make creative to satisfy yourself and your creativity. Create the creative, the execution on strategy, forward focused on the customer.
Right.
Don't make what is cool and awesome to you.
Right.
Make what is going to catch the attention and convey the message to the intended audience.
Right.
Often, I see commercials all the time, radio, TV, things on the internet, etc. And it's an obvious paid placement advertising, right? They've paid to be there. And I watched the whole thing going, someone in the creative department thought this was cute.
Right.
And I'm not thinking I want to go there or buy that product or engage their services.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, that creative team thought that was funny. And so they failed their job. Now, obviously, we're more critical than other people because we're in the business.
Right.
But if your audience doesn't get it, they don't connect to it, it doesn't matter how cool your creative is.
Right. Yeah, and there's always a fine line, and we've had that discussion before, and it's probably a whole new podcast. But
well, if you're going to err on the side of which direction you go, with being aggressive or passive or being this version or that version, you should always err on the side of what's the client most likely to respond to, and not what do we in the room together like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So there you go.
I like it.
And now you have it. That's all about, well, not all about, but it's our thoughts on being tone deaf and how you can avoid doing that.
Coming to you from Washington, D.C.
DC.
We're on the road this week, but we'll be back in the studio the next time you see a NeoMarketing podcast. Until then, good luck.
Ciao.